Alright guys, this is our first video on how angles are related in our angles unit that we're talking about. So what we have here is our first video notes. These are notes that you need to hang on to and take and put in your binder so you can have these, because we're going to talk about two different types of angles, complementary and supplementary. Basically it has front and it has a back here. And then you'll have this page, the second page. This will be your homework. It has a front page and it has a back page. This will need to be turned in either when you finished it on that day or the next day following. Okay, so today is a Monday, so you'll finish this after your test. It'll be due Tuesday. So this is your homework, which will be due Tuesday, for me to make sure that you have that down pat. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on as far as what angles are related and how they are related. So basically what happens here, angles, this right here is going to be, they can be represented in many ways based on their characteristics or about their degrees, their measures. So what an angle measures or what their degree is, that means how much does an angle open up. Such in this case you have right here, this thing right here, you can see you have different types of angles you can form, right here with this, and how much are they opening up by their degree measures and all that stuff. Okay, so if I take a look at these things, I have four different types that you should know already. An acute angle, so an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. It will look something like that. It's a smaller little angle right there, and that's how it opens up right there. It's less than 90 degrees, so it's a small little angle. An obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees. It's one that opens up. In this case, looks kind of like that. It's a big fat angle. It opens up. It's going to be a big angle. All right, the next one here is a right angle. Well, what's the definition of a right angle? We should know that. It's exactly 90 degrees, and it looks just like that. It's got an L shape. It even has a little box to represent a 90-degree angle. A straight angle, something that you should know, is called an exactly 180 degrees. It's either can be represented straight across or up and down in this case. All right, so those are the types of angles that we're talking about here in this case, how they can be related and how they can work together. All right, so what we want to use is how do you know how big an angle it is? Well, this is a tool. It's called a protractor. It helps us measure the angles out. Such in this case, if I wanted to find the angle AFB, I'd see A to F to B, and it's a small acute angle. So I know that when it opens up, it touches the line right there at 40 degrees. If I wanted to look at a bigger angle, AFD, I can see that it starts here, goes there, and it's a big long angle. It's an obtuse angle, so I'd say it's 150 degrees. Okay, so that's basically how we're going to read these things, by using this. So here's one that we want to read is AFC. So here's A to F to C. So it's bigger than a 90-degree angle. So what I'm looking is, when I look at it and I see that it's opening up this way, it's touching right there on the outside of 100. So this one's measuring exactly 100 degrees. All right. So here's another angle. Let's compare. What's the measure of CFE? So let's look. So if I have C, F to E. So let's see how it would look when I open this one up. So this is going from the opposite end. You can see here, bam, right there it is. But it's not quite 90. It's on the opposite end since it's going this way, counterclockwise. I'm looking at the bottom, and you can see that it's going to be 80 degrees. So this one's 80 degrees. So I got one angle at 100, the other one at 80. And I want to know, well, how are these two angles related? What's happening when I put those two angles together? How are they related? So here's kind of what it looks like. I got one angle here that's AFC, and then I have the other one that's CFE. And this one's 100, that one's 80. Well, how are they related there? If I put those two together, what type of bigger angle do they form? I've got this first one here, AFC, CFE. When I put those two together, I see it forms a straight line or a straight angle. And the straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. So they make a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So they add up to 180 degrees. That's great. So we say, okay, the 180 degrees. So those two angles add up to 180 degrees. But we have something that they are called supplementary. So these right here are called supplementary. So I'm going to put that right here. Two angles that are supplementary if their sum of the angles is 180 degrees. Two angles are supplementary if their sum is 180 degrees. So that means that angle 1 plus angle 2 could be plus angle 3 equals 180 degrees. You can have a bunch of angles. As long as they add up to 180 degrees, they are supplementary. So those two angles right there, AFC and CFE, are supplementary. Well, what about, let's look at down here, number 4. Let's see, maybe we have another supplementary pair. I don't know. So let's look at here. BFC. So B to F to C. So we're talking about this angle right here. B to F to C. Well, how do you read that one? So let's see. Let's see how we read that one. So we're starting here and we're going here. Okay? So I started at, looks like 40, and I went 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I started here at 40, and it looks like I'm going all the way to 60. So this one is 60 degrees. Okay? Let's look at another one, DFE. Well, let's pull out what DFE is. So DFE is right here, the one in yellow. DFE. And when I look at this one, remember it's going left, it's going counterclockwise. So I'm going to look on the inside. There it is. So it's not 150 because that's an acute angle. So it has to be 30. 30 degrees. So what does those two angles make when I put them together? You can't quite tell by looking at this thing, but I've got one here that's 60, and then I got this right here because I got this angle in the way. So if I put those two angles together, they form what is called a 90-degree right angle. I got one that's 60, one that's 30. When I put them together, they make a right angle. Their sum is 90 degrees. Oh, well, that's not quite supplementary. Well, it's not supplementary, but what we call that is complementary. So complementary. When you're complementary, you have the sum is 90 degrees. Forms a right angle. Such in this case, you would write angle 1 plus angle 2 plus ... You can have multiple angles. You can have as many angles as you want, but as long as they add up to 90 degrees, it's complementary. I complement each other, and it's 90 degrees. Supplementary is 180 degrees. Okay? So let's take our two information here that if you need to, use that. So this is going to be key, this part right here, for you to be able to do the next part. We have to understand which is complementary and supplementary. I could take this information now, because these are totals, and find missing angles. So in this case right here, it's saying, well, let's take this a step now. So if I know the total, if I know that it is complementary or supplementary, which is 90 degrees and 180 degrees, that's my total. I can write what is called or solve an equation and determine a missing angle, such as like an X or a Y, they may call it. So here's an angle right here. They give us an example. And we want to know what happens when I take this angle and I add it to my other angle. which is coming right here too, what does it give me? Okay, well, all of a sudden I've got a missing spot here. But let's look. When I put the pink angle with the yellow angle, they form a straight angle. And straight angles are 180 degrees, so this is supplementary. So that tells me that the supplementary means the sum is 180. So what does that mean in math? The sum is x plus 136 is equal 180. And all I have to do now is solve that problem. So I have a total and a piece, and I'm going to subtract by both sides by 136. And when I get that answer put in, and you can solve that, I'm going to find out that my missing angle is 44 degrees. So I can check that now if I want to check that to make sure, I can take my side that I have, 136, and the side I found, and I put 44 plus 136. That should add up to 180, and it does, so I know that I'm right. Okay? So let's see if we can we got a couple 5 here, let's see if we can set them up. First thing, let's look at what they make. So here I've got an angle right here, I'm going to highlight here in blue, right there. And then I have another angle right here in yellow. And when I put those together, it looks like it's forming a right angle. And a right angle, this is a complementary angle, which means 90 degrees. The sum together, when I put these two together, is going to be 90 degrees. So when I have x plus 74 should equal 90 degrees. So that's what I'm writing down. And yes, we need to show your work. Solve the problem, minus 74 on both sides, and you're going to end up getting 16. So this is 16 degrees. That missing side is 16 degrees. If you want to check it, which you should always, you're going to do 74 plus 16. When I add those together, it does be 90, and I know I'm right. Okay, number 8, you got two angles that are the same as well, 58 and x. Well, this looks like it's complementary. So the total, so that tells me the total is 90 degrees. I have a 58 and an x. I want to know what this missing side is. So I'm going to put it in here, x plus 58 equals 90. Subtract 58 on both sides. And when I do that, I'm going to end up finding my answer to be 32. 32 degrees. Check it. 32 plus 58. Yes, I know it's doing some, but you got to check it. So I know I'm checked out and I'm good. Last one here, I got an angle here is x. I got another bigger one right here, or smaller one. They form a straight line, so this is supplementary, which means 180 degrees, like my equation for that. X plus 52 should equal 180 this time, not 90, 180. You got to know the difference between these. That's why we have notes. If you don't remember them, you're like, man, okay, let's see. And we'll pull it back out. Oh, look, there's a straight angle right there, 180. So that must be a straight angle, 180 there. I'm going to solve this problem, solve by 52 on both sides. And that's going to tell me my answer there when I subtract them to be 128. If you need to check it, 128 plus the side they give me gives me 180. I'm good to go. The last one here, last two is number 10, the word problems. So they tell me my two angles are complementary. That's 90 degrees. So I know my total is going to be 90. One of my angles measures is 15. What's the second angle? I read the whole question. I don't go, hey, I don't know what this is. I read the question. If I need to draw a picture, there it is. So I got one is 15, the other I don't know. Set it up. The sum of the two angles, or how many angles you have, if it's complementary, should equal 90 degrees. Subtract on both sides. And when I do that right there, I'm going to get 75. So my answer there is 75. If I want to check my answer out, 75 plus 15, add it up, gives me 90. I know I'm good. The last one here, I have angle ABE, ABE, and DBE are supplementary. Supplementary. If you don't know what supplementary means, you look it up back on your notes, 180. If one angle is 61, what's the measure of the other one? Draw you a picture if you need to. There's my straight line. I got this here. This is A, B, E. He's 61. He's smaller than this one. D, D, B, E, A, B, E right here. So this one's the missing one. So I know this is 180. X plus 61 equals 180. Subtract both sides to find my missing part because I got a part. I got the total, so I'm going to subtract. It's not too hard if you remember your equations. 180 minus 61 give you 119. So my missing angle is 119. So this right here is 119 degrees. Check it. 119 plus 61 gives me 180 back. So I'm checked and I'm good to go. So your next couple ones here are giving you the same thing. Here's your homework that's due Tuesday. Bring it in. First set, supplementary. If you don't know what supplementary is, look back on your notes. Set up, what I want to see is you got to set up your equation. I want to see it. X plus whatever. X plus whatever has been given to you equals whatever supplementary means. Solve it. Don't just write the answer down. You'll get half credit. Next thing again, complementary. Write the equation down. Don't just put the answer down or you will only get half credit. That means 50% even for right answers because you've got to set them up. Okay? If you have questions about what complementary is, it's in your notes. Look them up. All right, so go ahead and get started on that and listen to what's going on next after you finish. Thanks. Bye-bye.